Hello and welcome to MBAM Portal for Construction Law. We are on a continuing series on the legal issues to consider before we expand overseas. We have done 3 previous videos on corporate structure, on employment contracts, on tax, and today in video 4 we talk about intellectual property. So what is intellectual property? Primarily there are 4 types. First, there is copyright. Copyright is the expression of an idea. So for example, if you have an operation manual on how to carry out certain construction works, that is copyrighted. If you have a certain approach towards tenders, you put it into writing, that is also copyrighted. If you have a trademark, secondly, after copyright will be trademark. Trademark is essentially your branding, your logos, your product names, all of these can be trademarked. Thirdly, we have industrial design. Industrial design is the design of your physical products. So very famously in Malaysia, we have the Nehemiah wall. It's got a distinct design that can be protected. Patents. Patents are for inventions or an inventive step. So if you have an innovative building material, or if you have a unique system to carry out construction works, all these can be patented. One of the patents in the US will be something as simple as how to cast a manhole. You actually have a patent in US for this process. Now the incredible thing about patents is you get a monopoly. As in nobody else can utilize your invention without your license. Now the fact is this, you have more intellectual property in your company than you imagine. You probably have just not thought through the processes on how to record and protect these intellectual property. The protection of your intellectual property becomes all the more important as you venture overseas, especially to less developed countries, because the propensity of intellectual property infringement is higher due to lack of enforcement. Malaysia and Singapore, for your information, are among the best in ASEAN for intellectual property protection. Thailand is acceptable, and the rest may not even be classified. So it is a jungle out there. The last thing you want is for a copycat or someone to steal your technology and know-how, which they have not spent time and money to develop. And because they did not spend the time and money to develop that technology, they can sell it cheap. And the problem is also this, intellectual property protection can be international, but international protection may not be automatic. So you have to check through the process that you are protected at the country where you set up shop. Just in the same way that intellectual property protection can be international, a breach of intellectual property can also be international. So say in terms of an innovative product, someone breaches your intellectual property in a country where there is very lax enforcement today, and this person may well sell your product all over the world. So you need to protect your rights, you need to consult your advisors, you need to make sure that your intellectual property is properly recorded and protected. In the next video, we'll talk about contractual terms.